January 6th, the J6ers. What to do with the J6ers? A blanket pardon, of course. That's day one. And not just the J6ers. I'm talking also about the pro-lifers who were locked up by this administration. I'm talking about the victims of the lawfare of this administration. I'm talking about all of the victims of the January 6th committee and the collaborators on the January 6th committee. Justice will be done for every single one of these folks. But I was with my friend Raheem Kassam when we were of the War Room Posse. I don't know if we have any War Room Posse members here in the audience today. Okay, one or two. And we were talking about the J6ers. And I said, you know something? Justice isn't just a pardon. Justice doesn't set things right because you must restore the scales. And let me tell you something. There are people sitting right now in jail who walked around peacefully in the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. There are people who have been in jail for years that have never even been charged with a crime, have never been given a chance to go to court. And so my question is, how are they going to get their time back? How are they going to get their money back? So what we are going to have to do is we are going to organize a class action personal lawsuit against every single member of the Jan 6 committee, against Merrick Garland, against Jack Smith, against Benny Thompson, and against Liz Cheney. And I'm going to tell you something right now. How are we going to make them whole again? We're going to take the money out of your crooked pockets, and we're going to give that to the Jan 6ers.
I know that's right. A pardon ain't good enough. Just the pardon for the J6s, all they time that they just had to serve? Yes, man, I totally agree with this. Free all J6 prisoners on day one. Drop all the charges against them on day one. And make sure you go ahead and get this lawsuit that you plan to use together, because I mean, these people need to be held accountable. We always do the complaining, this needs to happen, that needs to happen, and then woo. But nobody's ever been held accountable for nothing. Include every protester in DC on January 6th. I'm reading, of course. All have suffered trauma to their constitutional rights as citizens at the hands of a rogue government. I call them J6 hostages because, I mean, that's just what they were. Our tyrannical government is holding them hostage after they framed them with false charges. That's exactly what it is. Now, Alex Brussowitz, I don't know how you say this, but he's somebody who was affected by this directly. It says right here, Liz Cheney abused her power and turned the J6 committee into a tool to attack not just President Trump, but also many of his supporters, including me. She knew we were innocent, yet she went ahead to intimidate and financially burden us. Now that she's under scrutiny, she's claiming victimhood, which is hilarious because unlike us, she potentially committed real crimes, including witness tampering. By the way, I do have Liz Cheney's first response on X since all of these allegations were made public. Now, she could be facing significant legal consequences. What a shame, what a shame. Shame on her, shame for her, but you know, I guess we, the American people, are celebrating. Somebody even said the boomerang is inbound. Let the Retribution party get started. Somebody wrote about it there, and I'm all for it, man. Liz Cheney definitely needs to be held accountable for the frivolous case that she brought against these protesters. I mean, you had people there protesting peacefully. You had Antifa there, and then you also had cops whom were, you know, supposed to be doing their job, ended up inside of that building when they weren't supposed to. On top of that, if you look at the footage that came out since then, you'll see that some of the protesters were actually being led in there peacefully and being shown around the Capitol building up until ultimately boom. But yeah, I mean, I think this just actually brought up to my next video because that was literally my next video right here. It says final report was released. Liz Cheney is being referred for prosecution, tampering with witness Cassidy Hutchinson and attempting to influence her testimony. This is a federal crime with the penalty of up to 20 years in prison. Report also states Jack Smith colluded with the J6 committee, so will Liz, too, get a pardon. These criminals need to be held accountable. Let's check this video out real quick, and I will show you guys Liz Cheney's response to all of this.
20th, one of several bombshell revelations.
Hold on, let me rewind it.
Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been investigating January 6th, just released its final report for this year. It accuses Liz Cheney of tampering with the witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, trying to influence her testimony. It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminally investigate Liz Cheney when President Trump takes over on January 20th. One of several bombshell revelations in here. The report also says that Jack Smith colluded with the January 6th committee, but that some of the evidence has not yet been turned over to Congress. They're demanding that that evidence be turned over, something that might happen when the new administration takes over. But a really significant and rare moment for Congress to actually suggest that one of its members should be criminally prosecuted for tampering with a witness in an official government proceeding, a House hearing, the January 6th House hearing. As you remember, Cassidy Hutchinson was the bombshell witness for the Democrats, claimed that Donald Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limousine, take it to the Capitol. We now know that wasn't true. The Secret Service had already told Liz Cheney it wasn't true. She presented the evidence anyways to the American public, tried to give it credence. There's some other testimony where Cassidy Hutchinson talks about a document she claims she wrote it. She didn't. Someone else wrote it. All of that is laid out in this report. But the headline is Liz Cheney could be facing an FBI criminal investigation based on this information that Congress has transmitted this morning.
John, a quick follow-up real quick. I'm looking at witness tampering, obviously a federal crime, up to potentially 20 years in prison if this is witness tampering.
It's a very serious allegation. And as we now know from the reporting we did a few months ago, Liz Cheney was communicating to Cassidy Hutchinson around her lawyer. She was represented by a lawyer. When you go out and reach out to someone around their lawyer, you're violating the D.C. bar ethics, which, by the way, Liz Cheney was a barred lawyer in D.C., so she was obligated to follow those rules. But it goes beyond that. It suggests that she was trying to influence the testimony, get her to say things that would make Donald Trump look worse. This is a very serious allegation from Chairman Barry Loudermilk, the head of this committee, the guy who's run the counter January 6th investigation that has found so many things we were denied and not told about in the earlier probe. But a really significant moment today. And you're right. If the FBI were to pursue charges, this would be a very serious crime and one that could carry some serious prison time.
John, apart from Liz Cheney, you mentioned another name that I think is pretty big, Jack Smith. You said that he's named in this report. No referral for Jack Smith, but your expectation is that under Kash Patel, the FBI then would also be investigating him?
There is some evidence that Congress is trying to get its hands on that suggests that Jack Smith was colluding and working with the Democrats to take down Donald Trump. They don't have the evidence. They know what it is. They're seeking it from the FBI and the Justice Department. The hope is, in this report expressed, that when the new administration comes over, Congress will finally get that evidence and will know exactly what it was that Jack Smith was doing with the Justice Department, with the J6 committee. Remember, we also believe that Jack Smith may have had contacts, as did the Biden White House, with some of these local prosecutors in Georgia and New York. So that is another area of inquiry.
You know, I have this odd, well, I ain't gonna even call it odd. I have this on point feeling that they announced this ahead of the inauguration so that she can get pardoned by Biden. I feel like this is why, you know, this is being made, well, not made public because of that, but this is their new strategy in order to try to clean it up. The GOP, I'm reading, the GOP old line is working with the Democrats to preserve the swamp and their grip on power. I believe that this is somehow the Democrats trying to maintain what they can, the little frivolous powers that they have. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't think one thing will happen to Liz. I don't think one thing is going to happen to Lizzie. She's pathetic, but protected by the elites. You know, it's just what it is. Somebody said, doesn't one need to be convicted of a federal crime before a pardon could be given? That is, hey, go ahead, convict her there. You know what I'm saying? We'll go ahead and see it. You know what I'm saying? She would become a lucky winning of a pardon. No, I promise you, it's going to happen. But Liz Cheney took to X yesterday. Was it today? Yeah, it was yesterday. And all she had in response, really not a response, she was just tweeting it out, but it's her first thing since all this, it's first thing she tweeted since all this news broke. It says, putting the finishing touches on this year's Christmas tree, confident in the words of Abraham Lincoln, quote, "This nation is worth fighting for to secure such a inestimable jewel." I couldn't even get that word out. Y'all heard me fumble right in the middle. I was like, inestimable. Anyhow, and she got democracy written on this thing, y'all. Y'all see that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all know. You know for a fact we reading the comments, right? Y'all, you know we reading the comments, right? Comment section gonna be crazy on there. Let me go down. Let me just scroll it. Gunther Eagleman said, "You ready for the orange jumpsuit?" Yeah, I mean, she gonna hop right in and hop right out. Might be a last Christmas before prison, aka wrote, but yeah, you know, nah, I don't think so. These people rotting in prison that haven't had a Christmas at home for 4 years, but you're going to be held accountable for whatever you had in that destruction of docks. Yes, because these people's lives are quite literally forever changed and moved. These people will not be able to regain their 4 year, the time that's been taken away from them for these wrongful convictions. And I do personally believe that some consequences should be had as a result of that. Somebody said, "Why do Republicans hate you so much?" Enjoy your last Christmas from the outside of prison. God bless the families that are celebrating this Christmas without their loved ones that committed unalived. Yeah, I know what I mean by that. Because of you, I hope they haunt you in your dreams for all eternity. Somebody wrote, "You're going to jail." So you see these comments right here, boy, they are not in favor of her. She thought she was gonna come online with a positive picture and get some positive response. Nope. Somebody say you're a little nervous. I bet while reposting this, Alyssa Farr text chain. "I know you're busy, but if there's a chance you've touched base with anyone about what we've talked about." Hey, yes. So I reached out to Liz. Ooh. She agreed to keep our convo totally confidential. She said she admired you and could tell you wanted to the right thing. You want to do the right thing from your testimony. Her one concern, it was so long and you have counsel. She can't really ethically talk to you without him. But what she suggests is a follow-up with your lawyer that she and Dan George can lead. Probably can do without other members in Tim. Does that help at all? I can tell she really wants to work with you. And it is just try to figure out the right way to do it. There's no right way to do it. She's trying to work with you to collude, at that time, she was trying to work with you so that she can make those convictions solid. The reply to that, I mean, do you think this is actually of interest to her at this point, or is this moot? What? I think she most likely have moved beyond it. I think that what she was trying to write. And then Liz, not Liz, but in reference to Liz, it's very much of interest. She basically wants to structure it in a way you are comfortable and wants to make sure it's clear if you speak to them again. It's them asking, not you, so you don't have to get in trouble. Liz, you are in trouble. Now, the backstory to that, just a little bit, is Congress is referring to Liz Cheney to the FBI for investigation due to allegations of witness tampering due to her role on the January 6th Select Committee. Specifically, she was accused of secretly communicating with witness Cassidy Hutchinson without her attorney's knowledge, potentially violating federal witness tampering laws. So that's what you just read.
Cassidy Hutchinson, I saw you went and gave her a hug after she testified.
It was unpatriotic. It was un-American. We were watching the Capitol building get defaced over a lie.
Why did she go where so few have gone before?
What Cassidy Hutchinson did was an unbelievable example of bravery and of courage and patriotism in the face of real pressure.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel.
People have outright said that she's not telling the truth, that Cassidy Hutchinson's not telling the truth about what happened in the presidential motorcade.
The committee's not going to stand by and watch her character be assassinated by anonymous sources and by men who are claiming executive privilege. And so we look forward very much to additional testimony under oath on a whole range of issues.
I'll end this with a quote from Trump. Liz Cheney could be in a bit a lot of trouble, based on the evidence obtained by the subcommittee, which states that numerous federal laws were likely broken by Liz Cheney, and these violations should be investigated by the FBI. Thank you to Congress Barry Loudermilk on a job well done. Newsmax by Greg Kelly. Yeah, Liz Cheney should be in jail. That's it. That's the tweet.